It's 6:01. I'm calling the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of September 19th, 2024 to order. May we begin with a roll call?
Yes, sir. Hector Garcia?
I believe he's present.
Do we wait for him to say he's present, or?
I guess.
Or you can come around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolando Cáceres?
Present.
Cindy E. Cantu? Michael Parron?
Present.
Johnny M. Narvaez?
Present.
Jim Ramirez?
Present.
Regina Portillo?
Present.
Daniela Sada Paz? Here. Adolfo G. Martinez? And Hector J. Garcia?
Here.
For the record, you do have a form.
Thank you. May I have a motion to excuse those commission members that aren't present?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to consider approval of minutes, we have the regular meeting of September 5th, 2024.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair. Second.
We have a motion, and a second by Commissioner Barron. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We also have consider approval of minutes of regular meeting of August 15th, 2024.
Motion to approve? Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Do we have any general citizen comments?
We don't have any at this time.
Moving on to public hearing and recommendation of an ordinance. We have item 6A to public hearing. Can I have a motion to open public hearing?
Motion of public hearing 6A.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 6A is public hearing introductory ordinance of the City of Laredo, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 7, Building and Building Regulations, Section 7-2, same amendments, Code of Ordinance, Chapter 11, Electricity, Section 11-44, same amendments, Code of Ordinance, Chapter 25, Plumbing, Section 25-8, permit fees, and removing the City of Laredo Land Development Code, Chapter 24, Appendix D, permit fees by establishing a foundation-only permit and permit fee for commercial and residential construction of $200, establishing a solar panel permit and a solar panel permit fee for commercial and residential construction of $200, and establishing a process for pre-development meeting and pre-development service fee of $200, establishing an after-hour inspection process and an after-hour inspection fee of $150, establishing a partial inspection process and a partial inspection fee of $75, providing a cumulative and repealer clause, providing a severability clause, providing for publication, providing for a penalty, and declaring an effective date. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here. For presenting this item. On August 10th, again, 2023, during the budget workshop, my name is Elena Rosa for the record from Building Development Services. This was directed back from August 2023 from the budget workshop meeting. At the City Council directed the Building Department to establish permit fees. These permit fees were last amended on September 17, 2012. We want to bring you some history as requested on the previous meeting on what Building Development Services provides. The Building Development Services is committed to working with the building community to ensure all structures are built in compliance with the local building code. The staff works diligently to ensure homes and non-residential structures are built with safety in mind. The Building Development Services is subdivided into 6 divisions that oversee various aspects of the permitting, construction, and enforcement of the code of ordinances that you can see listed there. Building permits, inspection, zoning enforcement, development services, right-of-way management, and GIS map.
Let me ask you a quick question, but there's nothing in here, I haven't seen anything that shows what we're doing to get better at what we're doing before all these things come into play. And that's what we had asked about.
Correct. If you would allow us to finish with all due respect, we did bring the information you wanted.
Did you send this in our package when you sent it to us?
The package?
This package?
No.
No. So again, I haven't been able to read this, I just saw it right now for the first time. It wasn't in our package. So I make a motion to table this so we have time to read this.
Second.
Yes.
Can I add something
Yes.
before we make a motion? Just in this presentation, I know it mentions, I don't know what slide exactly it is, but where it says pre-development meeting service fee, you do mention that you want to establish a process, but if you can also add some detail on what that process is.
What process we have, what process you want us to, you're recommending. Those are the things we asked us, if I remember correctly. So it's not what I see, so, and let's go over this, so, call for the question.
Would you at least allow us to finish the presentation?
Not really, no. I don't, I made the motion, so, seconded. Put up, I said put it up for vote.
Yeah, close first.
We gotta close.
I close, yeah.
So motion closed.
Close it, yeah. Close and, I close it, and I have to table this.
Second. Discussion. Before we take the vote, there were a couple things that we'd asked you for, right? One was the
Correct.
process itself. What is your process now? And is that in your presentation you're about to give us?
Yes, sir.
It is in your okay.
Process, the current process, yes.
And why did you not submit it to us? I'm just curious why you didn't put it into, let us have this package or have it in the packet that we could have studied over the
It
week?
was, and we apologize, it was my understanding, that we didn't have the chance to present to you and compare, if I misunderstood that you wanted in the package, that would be my fault, and I apologize. But we wanted to bring you all the justification and the backup so you could understand the reason why, we wanted to do this, include it in the code of ordinances. If you would allow us to finish, I know you tabled it, I understand.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
And again, back to the discussion, because there's a motion and a second on the floor to close the public hearing and table or postpone the item. The recognition that we requested was that we get that information, and we always like to have it beforehand so that the people in the audience don't have to wait 45 minutes for us to read it for the first time, start asking questions that we could potentially have asked way before this meeting had started, and have kind of some additional questions that obviously your research is going to produce for us. And so, again, if you're going to make presentations to us, Mr. Chair, I would request that you send those to us early, so we'd have some time to go over those, create our own questions based on the research and the data you all provide us, so that we can make these things speedier, because obviously in deference to the people that are here, I hate to have them wait an hour and a half for a presentation that probably could take 20 minutes if we'd had everything beforehand.
Yes.
Good evening, Commission. Roland Lozano with Building Development Services. Our presentation was going to ask for us to give us more time. We wanted to table this because we were bringing it back because that was the motion last time. So we're bringing it back after doing more meetings and looking into it to provide all the requests. We were gonna ask for this to be kind of table, postponed, however the wording is, because we want to present a clear what the process is, why we're doing it, what other cities are doing, and the process, how it's being done. So, with that in mind, we wanted to, and I believe this is what Ms. Hinojosa was trying to get to, was what we're having is an issue with trying to meet budget. And so we had originally thought of taking it out of the code of ordinances, the permit fees, and all of, fixing up and cleaning up all the appendix D of the permits and all the fees there. However, we're gonna leave it in both for now because we do have a sense of urgency to try to meet budget, but we are going to come back to Planning and Zoning Commission and present what we are. So our presentation was to explain a little bit of the process, so you kind of just got the information, and we will be presenting a complete presentation to you way beforehand so that you have plenty of time to have questions for staff, and we will certainly take all of your comments and understand. So that was
I do appreciate that, and Gene hit it on the top of the nail there, is you're gonna get more help by giving us the information early so we can ask the question. So like everybody's here doesn't wanna hear 30, 40, 50 minutes of it. We were able to work a lot more on this, where you're gonna get closer to where you wanna be the first time. Because you're gonna answer pretty much everybody, because, hey, look into this and this, and how do you do this? And you can already have those answered ready to, well, we already looked at this is where we're at, so.
I just had a question, and if someone can guide us, even though we tabled this, do we still continue through council on the October 7th for the code of ordinances?
Yes, yes, we're gonna continue. We request the, tabling to be uncertain.
Uncertain?
Uncertain.
And
We'll come back with a clean presentation.
we will
With
send-
plenty of
Get the
time.
information
We'll
with
send
enough
it.
And this
time.
is I guess a precursor, right? Because most of the information that's already here provided on this pamphlet, we'll email it in the morning as well.
Also, just another recommendation, if it's possible, if the presentation can be done when plats are being presented, because that's usually when the agenda is not so heavy. So if you can kind of schedule around to when it's plat,
Say again?
if you can schedule the next presentation when plats are gonna be presented, because usually the plats, agenda is not so heavy,
Oh, I see.
versus
Okay.
having when there's zone cases, because there's a combination of zone cases and plats, and it's a longer agenda,
Okay.
so it's just a little easier on the commission. And
Mr. Chairman, I would
Yes.
also ask them, there are two items in here that are of concern to us, right?
Same.
The
I know,
pre-
I understand.
Pre-development process and the new fees that you all are creating, one for solar panels, I believe, and the others are housekeeping. Why not break those two up? That way you can bring the housekeeping items to us. We'll look those through. I mean, I could almost render an opinion or a recommendation to the council on the housekeeping items today, but the other items are all bulked into this, and those require far more detail and research for us to be able to have a good discussion. If you bulk those two up, you could probably get those other on the council off to the next public hearing, which is at city council, and the others we could continue to work on, which are the two big ones that we're talking about. The pre-development services, what's your process, how do we go forward with that? And then obviously you have a new fee, we just want to understand why the new fees and what does the public get for those additional fees.
Of course.
So, this was a public hearing, there was a recommendation, to table the item with a current motion, so do you want to state your motion?
Yeah.
Just close
So,
it.
yeah, closing,
Time and table, postpone uncertain, time uncertain. So, we have a motion by Commissioner Garcia, second by Commissioner Barron. All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have, personal time constraints today, and I was wondering if we could bring in an item that is concerning my district, if we can bring in item 6H.
We have
Can I
a
make a motion for that?
second.
Motion to bring
So we have a motion by Commissioner Papilla to move item 6H forward, and we have a second by Commissioner Benjamines. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 6H.
This item,
Second.
the applicant has requested it to be tabled.
Is the engineer present or the applicant present? Yes, he's right.
Yes, the applicant is present.
Okay, so,
It's a motion to table item 6H.
Second.
I know there are some citizens here that we're not gonna speak about this item, so I am gonna give them at least
Motion.
their due diligence to come up.
Then I rescind my motion and motion that we open public hearing 6H.
Okay. We have item 6H, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning lot 13, block 1, San Isidro Northeast, Las Palmas subdivision phase 2, located at 11401 Bucky Howdeman Boulevard from R1 Single Family Residential District to B1 Limited Business District.
I'll bring it up.
Do we have to go through the presentation, or since there's, Probably
We
not,
can,
right?
there's no requirement, however, it's up to you.
okay, so the request has been to table this item, is it time certain or time uncertain?
We defer to the applicant. Do you wish it to be uncertain or certain?
Just state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. My name is Ramiro Ibarra from Slay Engineering. I'm here representing San Isidro Management or San Isidro Northeast, our client. And what was the question for a certain amount of time?
Do you want it to come back at the next meeting, or do you
No,
want
not at
it?
the next meeting.
Okay,
We'll
so
let you know
uncertain.
what we want to bring back.
Uncertain.
Uncertain.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is a public hearing. If anyone wishes to come forward and speak in regards to this item, you can. If not, you could wait for the next time. I just do ask that you limit to 3 minutes per person.
Just throw something at me if I go too long.
No worries.
I appreciate the council's time and the invite to this meeting.
Just your name for the record.
My name is Dr. Alex Blanco. I reside at 1312 Coahuila Loop in the Avandaros development, directly behind the proposed zone change. I'm here with my wife, Dr. Cynthia Cantu, and several of my concerned neighbors, as you see. Basically, obviously we have concerns. It's very vague. If this changes to commercial development, you've basically opened up a Pandora's box for anything to go in there. And regardless of the intent, whatever business is planning to go in there, that business could go under, as you know, a year later, 5 years, however, and then anything could move in once the zoning has been changed. And our concern is it just would not fit well with the aesthetic of the neighborhood. And my wife and I, we were actually one of the first residents to move into that neighborhood several years back. Our house was built by Mr. Barajas of AB Homes, who sadly passed a few years back. And when we chose that lot, it was very specifically because, we're going to have an elementary school behind there, and the rest was designated as residential. We said, perfect, this is exactly the place to put our forever home. So I just hope the council considers that as we develop Laredo. We're not naive. We know that, look, you need to make that land productive, you need to turn a profit, you need to develop it. That's what developers do. And to this point, they have done a very beautiful job of that neighborhood. I don't see why they would do something to risk it. There's plenty of land on International, as you know. It just is not the right fit for a business. It's like the Burger King on Shiloh. You can put it there if you want, but it just looks funny. So I just, respectfully ask that you consider this zone change and what it means for the residents of the communities, the middle school, and just for us as homeowners, our property values can be affected by that. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? Or against? Or against?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just to be clear.
Yes.
The gentleman mentioned that it's council. We just want to make
Yes,
sure that the
it's the
public
commission.
knows this is the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yes, Commissioner. Yeah.
Hi, good evening. My name's Danielle Dianelli Martinez. So I'm here, as a parent of San Isidro Elementary and a resident of San Isidro community. I feel, and I believe that changing land adjacent to the school, that lot is right next to the school, literally. There are kids that walk home from school. A lot of our community members there are law enforcement, so our school has a long waiting list for after school program. So the only option for some of these kids is to walk home, or I've seen the housekeeper wait for the kids in the corner of the street. So now changing it into a business zone would not only impose a safety concern to our kids, but like Doctor said, it opens just a whole Pandora box of what kinds of businesses can be built there. Now we do know that if it's changed into a B1, essentially it can be built into medical offices, dentist office, art studios, dance studios, anything of that sort, and nothing really guarantees us that something that's going to benefit our kids is going to be built there. I have kids that attend the school. There's a very large, there's a big issue of the overcrowding of the school, and I know you all, this is not the right committee to speak up for it, but you can get a sense of the issues that we're facing, and so you bring in businesses, it's just going to add an increase to that congestion that we already have. Now, I do know that we cannot be closed-minded, because Laredo is growing and it's going to keep growing, and San Isidro continues to be developed. But like Doctor said, maybe there's other options, other things that can be done that's going to benefit the whole community, the developer, us as community members, and parents of San Isidro. And, I really hope that you all take that into consideration. I know that the developer decided to table the item, but when it does come back, to really think about our children, because essentially we have to ensure the safety of our kids and safety of our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do one more comment, then we'll go ahead and move on. You can come forward. We'll have one more comment, then we'll move on for the vote.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Veronica Garza, and I am a homeowner there at San Isidro North. My house is actually in that street, Juan Escutia, in front of the corner where they want to develop. In my case, I am in favor for it because I have spoken to the developer a couple of times, and like he said, you know, I built this whole neighborhood, and I don't want to ruin it. It is actually a very beautiful place if you've been around. I'm a proud owner of my house there in that community. So speaking with him, and my interest was to open a Pilates studio and a dance studio for little girls, Pilates studio for teenagers or ladies, which, from my understanding on speaking to him, he wants to have that type of businesses there, like a martial arts studio. All of this would benefit our kids, our families. Instead, I take my nephew to Taekwondo somewhere in Yakima. Takes me, by the time I leave him there, and he's gonna be there for 50 minutes, I just sit there and wait, because if not, by the time I get back home, I have to drive back to pick him up. So you can also consider the benefits of having that type of business. Like he said, I'm not gonna open a gas station or a oil change type of place, even though it's under the B1. He's like, I'm selling the land and back of it with a view. Why would I build something that's gonna ruin that, right? So he doesn't wanna do anything like that. I think there's a lack of information and communication, and maybe this should be studied a little bit different, or have a meeting with a developer where we can discuss these concerns.
Thank you.
But I also, and that too, those little businesses there can create jobs for our teenagers or students. You know, such a peace of mind to have my kid 2 blocks away from home than drive to God knows where, crossing the loop, whatever, you know? It does have its benefits to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're about to close the public hearing, and the vote that we're gonna take place will take no action on the zone change. All we're gonna do, the request is to table the item uncertain for it to come back at a later date. So at this point, there will be no action on the zone change, just to give clarification to the people here.
Motion to close the public hearing and table time uncertain.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Gonzalez and a second by Commissioner Sabas. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
For item 6A, we were just a bit confused. Was it table time uncertain? The ordinance from building?
Uncertain.
It was uncertain, right? Yes. Okay. Just
Yes.
making sure.
We're going back to the, believe it's the regular order of the,
Motion to open public hearing 6B.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 6B, amending the City of Laredo Land Development Code, Section 24.77.1, entitled Dimensional Standards to remove the minimum lot depth requirement of 85 feet in R1B Single Family High Density District, zoning districts, and providing that this ordinance shall be cumulative, providing for severability clause, and providing for a publication and effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, on September 3rd, 2024, Council directed staff to develop a draft ordinance amendment to remove the lot depth requirement of 85 feet in R1B zoning districts. The creation of R1B occurred on September 21st, 2015 by City Council, which they made a motion to approve Ordinance 2015-0126, which was the creation of the R1B zoning district and the associated performing standards. The R1B purpose, as per the Laredo Land Development Code, is to provide for residential uses and those uses normally considered an integral part of the residential neighborhood they serve, and to provide for the subdivision of single-family residential lots with a minimum of 3,000 square feet. On March 20th, 2022, City Council made a motion to approve Ordinance 2023-0-055 for the following R1B ordinance amendments, which was to allow properties in the Eastern and Western Division to qualify for R1B zoning and to adjust the minimum lot width from 35 feet to 34 feet for properties located within the Eastern and Western Divisions. So currently, R1B dimensional requirements, we have a lot width of 35 feet, a lot width of 34 feet for properties located within the Eastern and Western Divisions. We have the lot depth requirement, which is 85 feet. and the minimum lot area of 3,000 square feet. With the proposed R1B dimensional requirements, it would be removing the lot depth of 85 feet with everything else staying the same, which is the lot width as 35 feet, lot width of 34 feet for the eastern and western divisions, and to have the minimum lot area of 3,000 square feet to stay the same as well. So existing zones without the lot depth requirements that the code has is, there are AG, R1, R1A, R2, RS, RO, AE, B1, B1R, CBD, B3, B4, M1, M2, and MXD. The affected properties with the R1B ordinance amendment would be the proposed R1B ordinance amendment of removing the 85 feet lot depth requirement will affect all R1B zoned lots. Potential benefits of the R1B ordinance amendment is to allow easier subdivisions of lots in the eastern and western divisions, provide an opportunity for infill development in the eastern and western divisions, and to provide an opportunity for properties that have been subdivided without a plat to become a platted property. The proposed ordinance amendment also aligns with the comprehensive plan, which is to potentially create more density and to also provide more infill opportunities. And this is an example of a lot utilizing the proposed R1B ordinance amendment. On the right, we have a typical, on the left, we have a typical R1 residential lot with a 46 feet lot width. And we have the typical 6,000 square feet. On the left, we have the proposed amendment with the 46 feet. And as you can see, the dotted line is the proposed subdivision, the proposed lot subdivision, which will create the 3,000 square feet with the ordinance amendment. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. This was brought forward by request from City Council, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And the preparation was done on behalf of the Planning and Zoning Department.
I'm sorry?
The Planning Department did the preparation of,
Oh, yes.
yeah, okay.
That could be 6521.2.
So, I have a question for
Yes.
staff. So I guess, there's been interest from, I guess, the Eastern Western Division of doing R1B, and there's been some issues with that?
Yes, yes, we can envision, a rezone of your old R1 zone lots to R1B, which is allowed under the low-density residential. The comp plan, any area that's designated low-density residential an R1B zone would be allowed within those areas designated as such. However, due to the lot depth requirement, the rezoning wouldn't allow them to reconfigure those lots in order to subdivide. So the removal of the lot depth, as you can see, if you can put it back up, your R1B, what would happen is the width would now become the 46 feet, or the depth, rather. The 46 feet becomes the depth, and so removal of that 85-foot requirement now renders this lot able to be subdivided. Does that sort of
Yes,
explain?
and they would still have to come in and do the rezone though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then to meet this requirement now, but
They would have to rezone, and then in order to subdivide, of course, they would have to replat.
but if they are a new R1B, zone or area, they can
Also-
still develop this way.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
As long as they maintain the minimum 3,000
That's
square
right.
feet.
That is correct.
And staff is okay as far as with the length of the lot?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. We have, as was mentioned in the presentation, we have many zones that do not have a lot depth requirement. And the configuration is up to the developer and is dependent on them meeting those lot area requirements.
I mean, I think it keeps the integrity of the R1B by establishing the minimum square footage of 3,000 square feet, and also you're maintaining the minimum width of 35 or 34, depending on where it's located. So I think, if anything, it just gives variability and ability to develop, you know, a lot that can't be
That's
zoned
correct.
anyway, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
when they do come into plat, how are we addressing the access issues for the back lot? for
In
example?
this case, we envision that for existing R1s, it would most likely apply only to corner lots. So that's where you're gonna see it the most. It would allow, as you said, reconfiguration or different platting for new subdivisions, based on the new lot dimensional requirements.
But in the eastern and western division, Mr. Chairman, there are plenty of lots that are of size that are mid-block.
That's correct. However, it would be much more difficult because of the access requirements to provide them to the rear lot. So this would most probably end up applying most directly to corner lots, where you
But it
can
would-
have
But it
the
would prohibit
access to
somebody
the side.
But it would prohibit somebody
If,
from.
no, if they would have a larger lot, maybe a 9,000 square foot, where they could accommodate the access to the rear lot, absolutely.
Are there any other questions?
I do have one more question. How would this impact ADUs, for example, if,
Currently in R1s, ADUs are not allowed. We're looking at them more closely in the, in our update of our code. We do have in this zone, the R1B, it's only single family. It only allows one single family per lot. It would be difficult, I mean, with 3,000 square foot to provide multiple dwelling units on the lot. But, currently under the code, it only allows for a single family dwelling in this zone.
and the reason I ask is only one, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, there are so many other communities that are looking at ADUs. And Austin, as you all know, recently trimmed the lot size down from, I think, 3,500 to 1,800 square feet per lot.
We're obviously doing the same. We're doing, moving forward with providing opportunities for increasing the density, and this is just one of the first things that we're
Which is a
looking at.
good move. It's a win for everybody. The city gets additional tax base, doesn't need to spend on additional infrastructure since infrastructure's already there. The public services are already there. It just adds more tax base and also makes homes affordable for younger families.
That's correct. Infill development is, as you say, it is the most beneficial because of the infrastructure, the no need to create more infrastructure and provide those affordable opportunities.
Very well.
This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in regards to this item?
Do we know where the barbecue pit's gonna go?
Not just yet.
On the roof. Yeah.
If there's no other comments or questions,
Motion to close the public hearing and recommend approval.
we have a motion by Commissioner Blanes. Second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 6C.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 6C, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit for a trucking company on Lot 3, Block 1, Canseco Subdivision, Unit 3, Lot 1, Block 1, Gambit Plat, in approximately 11.2 acres, as further described by meets and bounds in attached Exhibit A, located at 5412 Santa Maria Avenue, 4925 Tesoro Plaza Drive, and 1318 West Carlton Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have Crown Enterprises, Inc. and Lakeshore Ventures LLC as the owner, and we have Caitlin as the representative. Property location is Lot 3, Block 1, Canseco Subdivision, Unit 3, Lot 1, Block 1, Gambit Plat, and approximately 11.2 acres located at 5412 Santa Maria Avenue, 4925 Tesoro Plaza Drive, and 1318 West Carlton Road. The zone change request is a conditional use permit for a trucking company, which is for transfer storage terminal. Letters sent for 22, we have none for, none against. Location view. Aerial view. Street view. Zoning map. Future land use map. And the recommendation is staff supports. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Is the applicant here?
I'm here, I'm the applicant,
Oh,
but
you don't, no?
yes,
Okay,
Crown Enterprises is also here.
okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against? Are there any questions from the commission? For staff or for the applicant?
Just if it's supported, and it says there, it doesn't guarantee building permit.
No, never. Neither a zone change nor any overlay will guarantee a building permit, because this allows use. It doesn't guarantee that they will comply, or anyone, not them, but anyone will comply with the building code, with the performance standards necessary to accommodate that use. So, we wanted to just make that clear. That's something that.
Because this is the first time you actually,
Yeah, that's something that comes up over and over, where it seems that there's a perception that, oh, well, they approved my CUP, they approved my zone change. I don't have enough parking, or I don't have enough setback, separation, whatever it is, and, but they approved it, so I should be given a permit. So we want to make sure that that is clear, not only for them, but everybody.
That's good.
that's good, that's good.
I have a question for
Yes.
the applicant. Can you come forward? It's a trucking company?
Yes.
You can just
So
state your name for the
you're
record, I'm
just-
sorry.
Sure, Caitlin Flaherty.
Katie, what?
I'm sorry?
What was your name?
Caitlin Flaherty?
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
What you want it to be is just to, ampliar,
Expand?
to expand
Yes.
the
Yep.
trucking.
Correct. Yep,
Parking.
it's already out there. This is just expanding and kind of giving it a facelift.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. That's for my.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Que mejor porque no usan ese, pues.
Are there any other questions? If not,
No.
what sort of action would the commission like to take?
Motion to close the public hearing and, recommend approval subject to staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Sala Paz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 6D.
Second. We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor? Against? Motion carries. Item 6D, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning Lot 12 and the west half of Lot 11, Block 1000, Eastern Division, located at 1802 Mercer Street, from R1 Single Family Residential District to R3 Mixed Residential District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have 1802 Mercer LLC as the owner and Mauricio Garcia Davalos as the applicant, and we have Jose Carlos Capetillo Rocha as the representative. Property location is Lot 12 and the west one half of Lot 11, Block 1000, Eastern Division, located at 1802 Mercer Street. The zone change request is an R1 to an R3. The proposed use is for duplex. Letter sent is 24, and we have none for and none against. Location view. Aerial view. Street view. Zone change signage. Zoning map. Future land use map. And the recommendation is staff does not support. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is the applicant or anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against? So if you want to come forward.
Thank you. My name is Mauricio Garcia. The first time that I came here for this kind of audience, so I will appreciate if any guidance about the explanation. Should I? The intention, I've owned this property for about 10 years. Actually, my mother lives there. My expectation is to develop that corner and expand or try to have an additional building. Originally, I wanted to probably build a complex of apartments, affordable living,
small apartments, but the numbers, basically I didn't get the approval from the bank to go for that project. So I'm planning just to build another house right next to my mother's, trying to get either different use. It's just that. That is the intention of this change of zoning. We have on the next corner, there's apartment complexes around that I think they already have a R3 zone, so I was thinking that is probably feasible to pursue this.
Okay. So,
That's-
so currently, the lot that you are sitting on is currently zoned as R1, which is single family.
Yes.
And what you're requesting is to go to an R3 multifamily. And staff isn't supporting that recommendation based on where the lot is situated. So you wanted, were you thinking about knocking down the building, or were you gonna add to another building, or what was your thought process?
At this point, it's just,
Mr. Chairman, we do have a site plan that the
Yes.
gentleman provided, so I think that would shed some light on, it looks like they're gonna be, they're proposing 3 dwelling units. So, an addition, it will turn out to be a duplex, so, the original building will be sort of expanded to add another dwelling unit to create a duplex, and then, to the east will be another single-family dwelling unit, so I
Yes.
think that's
That's correct.
that's what it looks, it's gonna be, look like. So the lot is a little bit larger, I think it's 9,000 square feet. It's a lot and a half. We have advised the applicant that, the construction on, I guess, either of the additional dwellings, because of the half lot, it's unplatted, so they would need to go through the platting process. By way of background, this one we struggled a little bit. You know, he is correct, there is some multifamily, just on the other lot, and there is a division along the base and the southern boundary. If you look at the zoning map, it is R3, directly to the west, and directly south. So you'll see those R3 type uses just across the street. So, ultimately, it was difficult. We went with a comprehensive plan and the primarily single-family residential uses in the R1 district. I think we could see maybe a conditional use permit at this location for those 3 dwelling units. Of course, we don't have a formal position on that, but we were unable to support the R3.
With the size of the lot, would this be an example of the ordinance that we had just recommended of R1B?
And I was just thinking about that, if they could accommodate it. Possibly, they would meet the lot area requirements.
Right.
Possibly, we'd have to look at it.
Okay.
I mean,
Yes.
if we're encouraging on R1B a little while ago, I mean, first I'd like to see if there's anyone against, right?
Yeah.
Depending on that, but yeah, we're trying to help folks get stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, the explanation is all over the place, running like a roller coaster. Yes, but no, but maybe over here.
So yeah, I'd like to see if there's anyone against.
Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against this item?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Question for staff. I can see why you guys struggled, with it,
Yeah.
especially with the one that just came before that. I mean, if we're encouraging infill development to increase density, to take it,
And that was.
all of that,
That
right, makes
was
sense.
the struggle.
And again, this one is one that has access, because it's on the corner, it's everything we just talked about. And then directly across, you have, I mean, not just some multifamily, there's a lot of R3 around there, correct? So,
Well, yeah, across the street there is.
across the street in both directions, in all three
Yeah.
directions.
But
Petty
like,
corner
as I said, it was hard. This was a toughie for us.
and so, what was your rationale in trying not, I mean, obviously, in the spirit of the ordinance and the
As I said, ultimately, we supported the comprehensive plan, which designates this as low-density residential and does not allow for R3 zoning districts. There is a clear divider at that the base there and the southern boundary. So the R3 uses are more prevalent east and south of it, and the R1, although there are a couple of strays, multifamilies, for the most part, they're single-family residential in that area. That was our rationale, just as we stated it in our packet.
well, and again, Mr. Chairman, a block away, you have B1, and then if you go 2 lots to the east, there is already the beginnings of a R3, I believe, or something. You've got something kind of highlighted there. Can't tell exactly what zone you have for that.
Well,
I think it's block 1000, lot 8 and 7, 1820 Mercer Street, I believe.
1820 Mercer. I mean, it's very uniform. The R3, what is it, west of it, that all of that block, north and south, it's uniformly R3. South of Mercer, all the way to Mendiola, is uniformly R3. We did look at the section of R1 that is northeast of that corner of the Base and Mercer, and we did see those stray R2s. From what we did a review of basically all of the R2s that we saw in the vicinity, and it looks like staff didn't support almost all of them. So, in light of that as well, right? The past stance of staff with regard to those R2s. So, this was a difficult one for us. So ultimately, as I said, we went with the status quo.
Mr. Chairman, and again, what is that use you have on that corner of Buena Vista and Mercer? On the, I guess it's the southwest corner of Buena Vista and Mercer, just 2 lots over.
As a different
It's
shape.
a multifamily.
It's
It's an apartment complex.
It's an apartment complex.
Yeah, it's an apartment complex. That's what I'm saying. There is the R2s and there are multifamily in the vicinity. Of course, R3 does allow for mobile homes, so it is more intense. And we could not really find any R3s in the R1s, right? So it was.
Yes. So, based on the site plan that they provided, and if they were to be granted this zone change, would they meet the city requirements as far as for parking and everything that's
I
needed?
just saw this a little while ago. Again, it appears so.
And if they didn't, they
I do
wouldn't-
see the distance requirement between the buildings. I believe they've met their setbacks and parking area requirements. I believe so. However, all of those would be worked out when they went to the building
And if
department.
they didn't, then
Then they wouldn't get their permit.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Yeah, so, I believe there's no other comments. Yes, you can make a motion.
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing and go against staff recommendation.
I second that.
So we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. So just to give clarification, the motion was to, request the approval of the zone change. That's the request of the commission. It'll go before city council.
Motion to open up 6E.
We have a motion? Second, Commissioner Caceres, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 6E, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning approximately 2.50 acres as further described by meets and bounds in attached Exhibit A, located at 23-311 FM 1472 from AG Agricultural District to M1 Light Manufacturing District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have CRB Holdings LLC and Cruz A. Rendon as the owner. Property location is approximately 2.50 acres located at 23311 FM 1472. Zone change request is from an AG to M1. Proposed use is a trucking company. Letters sent were 5. We have none for, none against. Location view. Aerial view. Street view. Zone change signage. Zoning map. Future land use map. And the recommendation is staff supports. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Is the applicant? Your favor? Okay. Anyone who is speaking against this item? Are there any questions from the commission for the applicant or for staff in regards to this item?
Motion to close public hearing 6E and recommend approval,
Okay.
subject to staff comments.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Belmontes and a second by Commissioner Barron. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 6F.
Second.
We have a motion, second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 6F. Amending the zoning ordinance map of the City of Laredo by rezoning Lot 5, Block 1069, Eastern Division, located at 1204 South Urban Avenue from B1 Limited Business District to B3 Community Business District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have Renee Irain Guevara and Paula M. Alanis as the owner. And the property location is Lot 5, Block 1069, Eastern Division, located at 1204 South Urban Avenue. The zone change request is from a B1 to a B3, and the proposed use is for a used car lot. The letters sent inside 200 feet, we have none for or against, and outside 200 feet, we have 0 and against 1. This is the location view. This is an aerial map. This is the street view. This is the zone change signage. The zoning map. The future land use map. And the staff recommends support. The proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Anyone who wishes to speak against this item? Is the applicant present? Are there any questions for the applicant or for staff?
Motion to close and go with the recommendation.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving on to item 6G.
Is it 6G?
6G, yes.
Motion to open,
Excuse me,
Public
who's,
hearing
who's seconded the item?
Yo.
6G.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Saladas. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 6G, amending the zoning ordinance map of the City of Laredo by rezoning approximately 3,194.7 square feet out of Lot 2, Block 664, Eastern Division, as further described in meets and bounds and attached Exhibit A, located at 1215 Ryan Street from R3 Mixed Residential District to B3 Community Business District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have Maribel Velasquez as the owner, Oscar O. Velasquez as the applicant and representative. The property location is approximately 3194.7 square feet, Lot 2, Block 664, Eastern Division, located at 1215 Ryan Street. The zone change request is from an R3 to a B3, and the proposed use is for a used car lot. We have none for or against in the letter sent. The background: on August 18, 2022, the Planning and Zoning Commission made a motion to recommend denial of the proposed zone change from R3 and B3 to B3. Staff did not support the application. The applicant did not appeal to move forward to City Council. This is the location view, the aerial map, the street view, the zone change signage, the zoning map, the future land use map. Staff recommends to not support. Proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Yes, sir, come forward. Sí, yes, sir.
Sí, voy a hablar en español.
Sí.
Sí, ya hice yo una...
Su nombre para los archivos. Su nombre.
Oscar Velázquez, sí, soy el que está haciendo el aplicante. Ya hice yo una propuesta de cambio de zona al 2022, pero cuando compré la propiedad, primero antes de comprar la propiedad, fui ahí a la oficina de zoning, planning and zoning, y la mitad ya es B3, y todo alrededor mío de mi propiedad es B3, y la mitad de mi terreno ya es B3. Entonces yo fui y pregunté, ¿puedo hacer el cambio? ¿Creen que sea favorable? Y me dijeron, la persona que estaba en el mostrador me dijo, sin problema, digo, es fácil. Metí la aplicación del cambio de zona, pero lo hice en una hojita sin hacer nada, ni planos ni nada. Entonces cuando vine aquí me negaron el cambio de zona. Pero el señor, en ese entonces estaba el señor Mr. Navarro y Deidre se llamaba la Miss Deidre. Me dijeron que soportaban un permiso, o sea, el permiso con condiciones, un permiso condicionado. O que metiera bien la aplicación con el survey, con los planos, con todo eso. Entonces, pues no lo hice y ya lo metí otra vez. Ya bien, no quise meter el permiso porque me dijeron que si lo metía bien, había muchas posibilidades que me lo aceptaran. Digo, es un lote de carros, no va a haber mecánica, no va a haber nada, o sea, es nada más se llegan, se paran y no hay ningún movimiento, no se vuelven a ver los carros. O sea, no sé por qué me lo hayan negado, pero son cuestiones pues no voy a molestar a nadie. Ya hablé con todos los vecinos, o sea, están de acuerdo y todo, no, o sea, no tengo problemas con nadie ahí. O sea, en realidad ahorita yo tengo varias familias que trabajan conmigo y donde yo estaba rentando, pues ya me pidieron el local. Entonces ahorita, pues yo tengo mi propiedad que compré para eso, que hice la inversión para eso y pues no puedo usarla, ¿me entiendes? Ya tengo 2 años o 3 años que tengo y nada más estoy pagando taxas, no puedo usarla. O sea, y como le digo, ya la mitad es B3, me falta la mitad nada más de hacer B3 nada más.
So, ¿usted es el dueño de
Sí,
propiedad?
sí, así. No, es una sola propiedad, pero la mitad de mi terreno ya está B3 automáticamente porque está a 50 metros de McPherson.
But is it a plat issue or why is...
No, it's not a plat issue. It's somehow the half of the lot is zoned R3 and half of the lot is B3.
Put the cards on the side.
I'm sorry? It is a
That's like-
platted lot, however, somehow that's how it was zoned. That's.
But is there a way he could replat to include that
No,
portion?
no, it's not a platting issue, it's the zone.
It's the zone.
It's the zone.
It's just a flat out zone.
Half of the lot will accommodate the
Pero
car
no
lot.
sé si puedan poner la foto, todo alrededor de mi negocio, atrás atrás de mi terreno, todo es B3. Sí, ahí el pasado. Si se fija, todo atrás de mí es B3, hasta la casa de enseguida
Well, to
sigue
the
es
east
B3.
is R3. It's all R3 to the east.
That
It's
doesn't make sense.
to the west, he's correct.
O sea, atrás de mí todo es B3,
Just
todo, hasta
along-
más adelante.
Ves que hay una casa al
¿Y los
lado.
2 terrenos a veces de usted también son tuyos?
No, está Pingüinos, luego sigue mi terreno. O sea, está Pingüinos en la esquina y yo sigo enseguida. O sea, estoy enseguida de la esquina. O sea, ya mitad de mi terreno es B3. O sea, nada más quiero mi otra mitad que sea B3 para poder hacer mi
Can you put the aerial? The aerial, so we could understand which part is his and. A ver ahí. Dígame dónde está usted, dónde está Pingüino. ¿Dónde está?
Lo que está así cuadrito rojo rayado es la mitad que es R3. Luego el que sigue hacia el lado izquierdo es la otra mitad de mi mismo terreno. Y luego enseguida sigue Pingüinos.
That's correct.
Ah, ok. En McPherson está Pingüinos.
Sí, yo estoy enseguidita. Sí, yo estoy enseguidita. O sea, y ya la mitad es B3, o sea, nomás quiero un pedacito más B3, ¿me entiendes? Y atrás de mí es B3 todo completo hasta la casa de enseguida. O sea, atrás de mí todo es B3 de mi terreno. O sea, y como le digo, o sea, yo pregunté primero y me dijeron que sin problema.
Sí.
¿Sí me entienden? Me dijo, no, sí, lo más seguro es que sí se lo den. Entonces yo voy, pido un préstamo, lo compro y ya tengo 3, 4 años pagando taxas que no puedo hacer nada con ese terreno. Ahorita donde yo estoy rentando, pues ya me pidieron la propiedad y no tengo dónde rentar ahorita. Tengo 4 familias que están desempleadas que trabajan conmigo. O sea, es algo que puedo usar, o sea, no voy a hacer daño a nadie. Ya hablé con los vecinos desde la esquina, enfrente, atrás, o sea, ya hablé con todo. No hay ningún problema con ninguno de ellos.
Señor Presidente, una pregunta para el aplicante. En la mitad que ya está B3, ¿qué está haciendo con esa mitad?
Nada, no he hecho- desde que lo compré no he hecho nada más que pagar taxas. Vacío, ahí está la foto, no he hecho nada. No se usa, no se ha pagado taxas, cortar zacate, cortar zacate, limpiar. Entonces, o sea, quiero darle un uso a ese terreno, digo, o sea, ya la mitad es B3, no es todo, o sea, nada más es la mitad. Y todo alrededor mío atrás es B3, o sea.
Pobre.
So, ¿vas a abrir el otro parte para conectarlo? O
No, es un solo terreno.
Es un solo
Es un solo
It's
terreno.
only one lot, but half of it is B3 and
One
half of
lot.
it
Which
is.
at a minimum, it's not unusable. All the uses that would be allowed by the R3 would be allowed. So, single family, multifamily, mobile home, all of those for sure would be allowed.
No, pero en el pedazo que queda, chico, ya lo quise hacer yo. Me dijeron que por las dimensiones de la mitad del terreno no puedo hacer mi negocio. Dije, pues uso la mitad.
Y esa es la pregunta que tengo yo para la directora. ¿Por qué no se puede usar la otra mitad? Why can't we use the other half of the property? Why can't he just park his cars on that side, put a little house on the other side, and he runs his business? I don't. I see the
don't
enforcement logic.
believe, we've had this issue before, and I believe, building services, does not allow that because of the difficulties that we've had in the past with half lots. The enforcement is impossible.
Mr. Chairman, how did that lot become half lot? Is
I-
that on us?
We
Is
don't
that
have
on-
that. We do not have that information.
Porque yo pago todo comercial, todo el terreno me lo cobran comercial en las taxas. En las taxas yo pago B3. En las taxas yo pago todo el terreno comercial.
No, yeah.
I can't imagine how the zone, I mean, taxes are based on value.
Yeah.
And, it's the land value and the improvement value. I don't wanna speak for the appraisal district.
Right.
But the appraisal district, I did work there about 25-ish years ago, and.
I'm on that board, so.
I'm sorry?
I'm on that board.
Yeah, I mean, and you know very well, it's based on value, and, the land value is based on a group basis, and then the individual for improvements is based on whatever
Can you
improvements.
repeat that again? It's based on a group?
Yeah,
basis?
it's,
So
and
what
I
group
wasn't
does
part
it
of
belong
management,
to?
so it was management that does all the land values, but they're done sort of on a group, right? They're done in a group basis.
So in his case, Mr. Chair, what group does he belong to? To the commercial group or to the?
I have no
residential
idea.
group, or-
Again, that's the appraisal.
Or, I mean,
district.
it's
They would place the values on the
a little bit
land.
of sarcasm in there, but I was just, I mean, he's divided right down the
But
middle.
zoning
and I
is
can-
not a consideration in
You know,
value.
My good friend, I know his appraisal value for it would be on the one that has the most appraised value to it.
Sí.
That's the- with-
Exactamente. Sí, me lo cobran como comercial porque es como está más caro. Y lo pago como, si lo buscan en el Appraisal District sale como comercial. Y tengo que pagar las taxas como comercial.
Gracias, señor Velázquez.
Okay, gracias.
This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against?
Motion to close 6G
Okay.
and go against recommendation of staff.
So we have a motion
And a second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 6I, we've already kicked down the road. 6I, yes.
Yes, correct, that is correct. We have a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Against,
Aye,
motion
yes.
carries, yes. Sorry, it's been a long day. Amending the zoning, item 6I, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning Lot 2, Block 1, Palm Lake subdivision, Phase 1, located at 819 Rancho Viejo Drive from R1A, Single Family Reduced Area District to R2, Multifamily Residential District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the record, we have San Isidro Northeast and applicant Pat Murphy. The property location is in Lot 2, Block 1, Palm Lake Subdivision, Phase 1, located at 819 Rancho Viejo Drive. The zone change request is from an R1A to R2. The proposed use is for multifamily residential uses. The letter sent, we have 4-0 and against 0. This is the location view, the aerial map, the street view, the zone change signage, the zone map, the future land use map, staff recommendation is staff supports the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item? In favor?
Good evening, Ramiro Ibarra from Slade Engineering, and I'm in favor for the zone change. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from Mr. Guerrero?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So this property is east of Mines Road, west of I-35, south of Loop 20, correct, in that new set?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to get my bearings, because I couldn't figure where this was. I know Rancho Viejo goes west towards the riverbank, but it also crosses over now.
Right now, it's dead end there as part of our master plan for Palm Lake. Rancho Viejo is being extended as per the thoroughfare plan, and then it will go north and intersect Fasken Boulevard, which is also being extended.
Correct.
And Fasken will hit I-35.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against?
Motion to close the public hearing and recommend approval, subject to staff comments.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caceres. All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Moving on to now review, consideration of the following master plan. Item 7A. Review of the revision to Los Presidentes East Master Plan. The intent is residential, multifamily, and commercial. The purpose of this revision is to reconfigure phases and lots.
Yes, sir. For the record, the applicant is Hilltop Farms. Engineers Holland Engineering Surveying. Proposed use is multifamily, commercial, and residential. The zoning for this 735 lot development is AG, R1A, and B4. Location view. Aerial view. The revised master plan. Staff comments planning. Fire and traffic safety, and the proposed motion.
Thank you. Is the engineer?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Miguel Jimenez with Howland Engineering. I know this master plan came up last meeting. It was tabled. There were some questions, and I'm happy to answer. I would like to say before answering questions that I made some updates based on those comments and questions. Actually, one main one, and but I can discuss as you guys have any questions.
Yeah, the question was for that, phase 6 coming into this master plan and having changed to, consider the area for Jalapa Street, just because, it seems like it's a good east-west connection to the area, to Cuatro Vientos, into, Lago del Valle area, to help that area as well. And I think it should, currently in this master plan, it kind of shows it within phase 7.
Right.
And I think that's a pretty long stretch of roadway. We had discussed possibly within phase 6, based on the current master plan saying that it's going to be a multi-family area. Possibly requesting to see if phase 6 can incorporate Jalapa Street, probably up until Isla de Mujeres, and like that help that phase 4 as well. Eventually, right, to be able to get some traffic out of that area as well. So I don't know if that's something, a comment we can include that possibly you would be in favor for, to move, to include within phase 6 Jalapa Street up to Isla de Mujeres.
Yes, and that's actually the comment that, the change that I proposed, and I don't know if I can turn this on. I want to show you guys.
Yeah, he doesn't over here.
It's coming on the
You
screen.
change it from over there.
There we go. Perfect. So, as you were saying, Mr. Varón, this is, we incorporated that change, so we did, we are now including half of that road in phase 6, the other half in phase 7. Yes, and you're correct. We had it a long stretch in phase 7, but we're now splitting it, half, like I said, half on phase 6, half would be phase 7. The proposed, we actually have preliminary, just for everyone's information, some background info, we have preliminary plat approval on phase 4. This is coming in, very shortly, I mean, almost immediately. After that, as soon as we're done with submitting the plans for phase 4, we're gonna jump to phase 5 and phase 6. So we see the development growing, and yes, like Mr. Varón said, that road would help, eventually when it does connect to Cuatro Vientos, it'll alleviate the area and provide another means of access to that phase 4 and the whole area, right? So we did take that into consideration, and we made that change.
Now, would it be possible to include phase, like switch phase 5 and 6, so like that phase 5 comes in and then you can do 6, or was that something you guys could consider?
So, one of the reasons why it is phase 6 is the terrain. The terrain is pretty unique there. I mean, when I say unique, it's kind of tough, right, for development. So, phase 5 is more ripe for a quicker development. That's why it's phase 5. But in theory, we will be looking at both at the same time. So, as soon as we're done with phase 4, we are looking at the design of what we can actually make feasible to develop in that phase 6. That's the only reason we split phase 5 and 6, but in theory, we're looking at their area together.
Because in the previous master plan, it had that whole area as one phase, right? It had phase 5 and 6 together.
Right.
And you had lots together.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yes.
In the previous master plan, but this master plan now with this change, the hope would be that, we try to get Jalapa done, and I understand all that floodplain, and it's a difficult to do, but we hope in good faith that phase and that section of Jalapa does get done, and then eventually the connection with the commercial area. I don't know what time frame you may have for this, just because it is important to get an east-west roadway in this area. And that's why the recommendation that I was proposing, or potentially could propose, is to have phase 6 turn into phase 5, including Jalapa Street, and then, you can start with the phase 6 on top. But, I mean, unless you have a different time frame that you're thinking this phase 6 could happen.
And so, how do I say this? Before, like you said, when phase 5 and 6 were combined, we also transitioned into perhaps dedicating this as a park to the city, right? We did coordinate with parks. I met with parks several times. We ended up finding out that this whole development, this whole area had already met their park requirements, right? The parkland dedication requirements. So once that was determined, and then we got into, some details where how we can make it work, like get the fees back. So it kind of got a little complicated. So then we're like, whoa, we weren't expecting to get this piece back. We were already, considering providing it to the city. So that's why it's phase 6. We didn't want to leave it as phase 7, phase 8, because we know it's important. So that's why it's phase 6 right after phase 5. Like I said, we will look at it together, but we know the importance of that road, and we'll definitely, sit with our client after this phase 4 and see what we can develop there and try to push it forward.
Yeah, and just because after that phase 5, this would be 6, and then the rest is the stuff that's off Cuatro Vientos, which is all pretty much currently all floodplain.
Right, and just I also don't want to speak out of place, but so our client, the developer for phase 1 through 4 that we're at now, he's our client. He's not currently the landowner, so he's purchasing the land as he develops, right? So that's what is on the table now, phase 4. So once that's done, then you know, we sit down, we plan it, and see what's the next feasible phase. That's how we planned it. We are submitting this plan as part of Hilltop, right? They're the applicant, we're the engineer of record. So we'll work with both the landowner and our client to make sure we come up with the best plan how to, you know, close out this development.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'd like to make a motion to approve the master plan, including the comment to move, Jalapa Street into Phase 6 up to Isla de Mujeres.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. The second by Commissioner Bermudez. Moving on to public hearing, consideration of following preliminary replats, item 8A.
Motion to open public hearing 8A.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Cáceres, all in favor? Aye. Against? Public hearing and preliminary consideration of the replat of lots 12, 13, 14, and 15, Block 1, San Miguel subdivision at Plantation into lots 12A, 13A, 14A, and 15A, Block 1, San Miguel subdivision at Plantation. The intent is residential, and the purpose of this replat is to remove a 12-foot utility easement from the back of the lots.
Yes, sir. For the record, the applicant is Patrick Farrell. Engineer is Premier Engineering. Proposed use is residential. The zoning for this 4-lot development is R1. Location view. Aerial view. As platted and the proposed replat. Staff comments planning. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, engineer record.
Good afternoon. I'm Cristina Gutierrez with Premier Engineering. We concur with the comments. If you have any more questions, then I can answer.
Are there any questions? Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'm not too sure if anyone's here to speak in favor or against. If not,
Motion to close you said it was a public hearing?
yes.
Close public hearing, go with staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving on to consideration of the following preliminary plats and preliminary replats. Item 9A, preliminary consideration of the replat of Lot 2, Block 1, Resendes Plat, and Abstract 280, Porcion 10, Tomas Sanchez, 2.5 acres, tract 11A, Las Minas Ranchettes, into Lot 2A, Block 1, Resendes Plat. The intent is industrial.
Yes, sir. For the record, the applicant is Timber Hill Group, engineer Savio Engineering and Associates. Proposed use is industrial. The zoning for this 1-lot development is M1 and AG. Location view. Aerial view. As platted and the proposed replat. Staff comments planning. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. Engineer record.
Good evening, Commission. John Damascus, Site Engineering. We concur with staff comments. I'm here. Any questions or concerns?
Are there any questions for the engineer? Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion.
Motion to approve subject to staff comments.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garcia, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Moving on to item 9B. Preliminary consideration of the plat of Pinnacle Industry Center, FM 1472, Unit 14. The intent is industrial.
Yes, sir. For the record, the applicant is Pinnacle Mines Investments. Engineer is Gilpin Engineering Company. Proposed use is industrial. The zoning for this 21-lot development is M1. Location view. Aerial view. Proposed plat. Staff comments planning. Fire. And the proposed motion.
Thank you.
Yes, Judd Gilpin representing Pinnacle, and I'm concurring with staff comments.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Gilpin? Thank you.
Motion to approve subject to staff comments.
We have a motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barron, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. We're moving on to consideration of the following final plats and final replats. If there's no objection by commission or staff to hear items 10A through 10C together.
Motion to hear 10A through 10C.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Can we now have, action on items 10A through 10C?
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries for approval. Can we read those into record?
Yes, for the record, final consideration of the replat of the remainder track 7, Las Blancas subdivision into lots 7A, 7B, 7C, block 1, Las Blancas subdivision approved. Final consideration of the replat of lot 1, block 2, Pinnacle Industry Center, FM 1472, unit A, into lots 1A, and lot 2B, block 2, excuse me, it would be Industry Center FM 47 Unit A, approved. Consideration of the Cuatro Vientos East Red Ranch Subdivision Park plat approved.
Thank you. We're now going to consideration of model subdivision compliance. We have, consideration of model rules of subdivision compliance, the plat of El Eden subdivision, unit 23, the intent is residential, and the proposed actions for approval. Can I have a motion?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Do you have any director's comments?
I sure do. I wanted to introduce our newest planner, Stephanie Prado. She comes to us, she has a business background. She's been with the planning department now about a month, and she's doing great work, and so we expect very good things from her. So we just wanted to welcome her and introduce her to the board.
Welcome, Ms. Bella.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. We've adjourned.